Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, thanks for joining me. I'm Katie and we've got a bit of a special one today. So YouTuber Made by Dawn reached out to me and asked if we could do a collaboration. So yeah, I thought why not? I've not done these before really, so I asked Dawn if she wanted to set a challenge and we'll go for it. So the theme of the challenge is summertime and ice cream, and Dawn also recommended using or advised or suggested that I used the content from the scrawlrbox in April. I think it was the April one. Yes, it was the April one. So yeah, I thought why not? This will be fun. This will be great, in fact. And even though everything that's going on in the world right now and the whole craziness of it, I thought, yeah, this is a great prompt, and it'll be a bit of cheer for everyone. And you know, in most places of the world, it is summertime right now, and that's not going to change, although saying that here in the UK that kind of changes on an hourly basis, but we do like to talk about the weather over here. Anyway, I'm waffling on here. I'm going to leave Made by Dawn's channel in the description, so please be sure to check it out and obviously have a look at her part of the collaboration as well. Anyway, let's get cracking to talking about the drawing. So summertime is not my favourite season. My favourite seasons are autumn and winter, but I am warming to summer, if you'll excuse the pun. For me to enjoy summer, I need to either be at the beach or at a nice pool so I can cool down, because I get too hot and restless. So if I can go in somewhere cold like the ocean or a swimming pool, and even better with an ice cream, but not at the same time because that'd be gross, then I'm okay and I'm quite happy about it. However, there's one thing, well, there's lots of things I don't like about summer, but one of the things I really don't like about summer are wasps, because I run away and I'll flap my arms around and I'll just run away shrieking. I know it's not going to hurt me, not unless I start flapping at it, which I don't do. I take my flapping away with me. But yeah, wasps. I've knocked drinks over, I have dropped ice creams, I have ran into things to get away from them, and I kind of wanted to get that comedy across in this picture. So my character has obviously experienced a bee or a wasp, and she's just running towards the water and she's dropped her ice cream and it's splattered on the floor, and I just thought that would be so funny to do, and I'm actually really happy with how I drew it out. So I did cheat a little bit here. I did draw it in a red coloured pencil to begin with because I didn't want to use graphite and have it showing through, so I used just a regular coloured pencil. I think it might have been one of the Pilot colour Eno, is it? I'll have to double check. And yes, that was much better, and I didn't have any graphite showing through, so it didn't mess up my line work. Now obviously it's quite a limited colour palette, and yes, I know I've got the primary colours, however the yellow and the blue are a different medium to the red, so I had to be very careful as to how I was mixing those up. So for me, yeah, this was actually quite a challenge, and I did actually find the scrawlrbox one quite hard. I mean, I got there in the end with it, but yeah, it was strange to sort of revisit these mediums all used together again. So I'm glad that I had this opportunity to try this. So what I couldn't do with colour, I had to do with details instead, and I wanted the splattered ice cream to be the focus on here, and I made it mint choc chip because that green coloured pencil that was in the set was just perfect. And I'm not going to lie, mint choc chip ice cream is my favourite, and it always has been, so I was really glad I was able to do that, because I didn't really want to do a vanilla ice cream or any other colour ice cream because it was too similar to the beach colour and to the wafer cone as well, so it worked out pretty good. Now, I'm sure you've noticed there is a little palette to the side of the drawing there, and I avoided directly using the medium on this picture as much as possible, and that's purely so I could mix up the colours to how I wanted them to be, and that made it a little less restricting. I did, however, and I'm sure you've seen, use it directly on the ice cream and for the ocean in the background, but everything else, well, aside from the line work and a few details here and there, everything else has been painted on, and I was really glad I was able to do that. Now it's time to start adding some details to the character, and this was quite hard to do with the size brush I was using, and I obviously couldn't quite go in there with the coloured pencils because they're quite chunky, and it was quite difficult to get too many fine details in there, but I got there in the end, and it was actually quite easy to layer those colours up. Now, without blowing my trumpet too much here, I'm actually really pleased with how the ice cream cone came out. I was going to leave it quite plain and bland, but because the beach hasn't got a huge amount of detail going on, I thought, let's go to town and really make it look as 3D as possible. So it really, again, going back to the layering, it really did pay off doing that. I could add some tone and some depth into there, and almost make it look as if you could pick that ice cream up off the floor, no 3-second rule though, and put it in the bin. Now I'm really happy with how the gradient worked out for the sky. I was going to include clouds in there, but I figured that wasn't really going to give the impression of a proper nice summer. I also didn't want it to look too busy either. Again, the main focus here is that ice cream cone and our character running away from whatever has scared her off from it. It's definitely a wasp though. It's always wasps. Now for our character's bikini, I did add a wash of the colour in first, and then realised that's not going to be strong enough, so I did go in there with the coloured pencil, and I actually dipped it in water to activate the pigments in there so it would behave more like watercolour, and I'm actually really pleased that I did that, because again it just allowed me to add a little bit more tone and depth, and rather than adding just a darker colour in there to create shadows, I thought adding more pigment in there would do just as good a job. And I don't know why, maybe I'm just getting Baywatch vibes because she's wearing a red bikini, but it just seemed the right thing to do. And I think also it added a nice balance to the picture. It just added a pop of colour which diverted the eye and created a narrative. Now that sounds fancy, doesn't it? Now I was at a stage where I was thinking things still aren't quite popping off the page, and I was so tempted to use a liner pen for this, but I thought no, I'm not gonna deviate from the challenge. And again, it's really hard to do fine lines with these chunky coloured pencils, but I persevered and I had to sharpen it a lot, and luckily, I mean, I must admit the leads are really good on these because I have dropped them on the floor several times. So yeah, I must admit I was pretty impressed with the coloured pencils there. But I went round and gave everything a bit of an outline, and I'm glad I did it with a coloured pencil because it just looks better actually. I didn't want it to look too cartoony, and I just wanted it to look more like an illustration. And of course, that brown pencil was perfect to add the chocolate chips, which are like part of the best ice cream in the world. Did I not mention that mint choc chips my favourite? Now to add a little bit more of a 3D effect, which I totally forgot to mention at the start, I actually cut out the outline for the ice cream and the cone so it would be protruding from the whole image, and again I really like the 3D effect. I did have to go around and touch up the outlines because that kind of got lost with the tape, but I actually really like what I did there, and I think I might start incorporating that into future pictures, so it was really good to be able to try that out. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this one. It's something a little different. I just want to say thank you for watching, and a massive thank you for Made by Dawn. Don't forget to check out her channel. Again, link will be in the description. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Don't forget to give me a good old thumbs up if you have, and if you're new here as well, why not subscribe? Anyway, I will see you on the next video, my lovelies. Bye!